so let's make it count. It's a takedown, nobody can stop us now. Stand up, shout it out, say it loud so the world can't drown us out. And before we depart, let's leave a mark, cause light shines brighter in the dark. When we scream, our lips don't make a sound. We march with feet on solid ground. We walk when no one wants to go on this untraveled road.
Hello my Rangers, and welcome to another day. We're going to be doing a little bit of a different something for this game, for the moment, in the form of we are going to be just talking about this game, Isarian Conflict, and some of the things I want to see in this game. I did have the guy actually come back and he said, hey, thank you for making the video, which always helpful, but I didn't really get to do too much in that video of what I wanted to see in that game, which I did with Cyanide. So in the spirit of doing so, let's just before we do anything, let me just make sure we aren't doing all of the things. There, got that all done. Alright, and now as you could probably tell, I'm going to be doing things a little more differently than I have done in the past. When I first did it, because I actually played this game a little bit more. So needless to say, I actually have a rough idea of what I should be doing. Rough being the critical point here. With the first thing we want to do over here, we don't have enough cloth. Great, do we have any cloth? Yes, please. No, not yet. We gotta get material compartment. You get a mess hall. Get a mess hall going. Oh, I need more of everything. Good lord. Ugh. Alright, so, first thing I want to see in the game, right? I think we're just gonna go... I want to just see what this looks like yet. This is a very interesting map. By the way, this entire city has been cut off from everything else. There's nothing connecting to it. So, we are going to be doing this the old-fashioned way. So the first thing I want to see in this game is more to this screen. Now, obviously, this is a lot of work in progress, as you could tell with work in progress. You know, I haven't unlocked a lot of it. But we need a lot more in certain departments. So I'm just going to go down general purpose machine gun. For an MG 7.62, I'm not sure. This has to be an MG3 or like an RPK, PKM situation. Because it generally describes it. It forces you to have a team, which makes sense. A team of is a machine gunner and two assistants. One to help with removal and replacement of barrel. The other one to help with the ammo, which makes sense. Then they have the 12.7 anti-aircraft MG. There needs to be a 12.7 normal HMG. Because there is a difference between anti-air and normal MGs. With aircraft and anti-aircraft ones, I think they just have a higher fire rate. Due to the fact that they have to. It's not exactly like a proximity fuse inside that bullet. It's a solid bullet. And even though there's like some cool stuff you could put inside of 50 caliber, which is basically what that is, you can't really do proximity fuse with one. Mass reactive is the closest we get to. Next thing up, pickup trucks. This is awesome. Big thing I want to ask the developer is, I don't know, because this says we are in 1993, which is in the perspective of what I'm thinking of, and this I probably got my dates wrong, but this is kind of the era of the global war on terror. Right, because we know around the early 2000s is when it really begins with the bombing of the Trade Center. But things like the Gulf War and other things like that, this is kind of, the general gist is a lot of what we're seeing here is Gulf War era equipment, which is why you're going to have pickup trucks with 23 20 with a 23 dual AA gun on it, or like a tubes for rockets, because this is just a technical. We need eventually, hopefully, going to see some armored variants of this in the form of like Humvees or Humvee equivalent from other nations, because I don't know what I'm going off of just some of the vehicle names, like T-72. This might, I don't want to say Isarian is based off of like Middle Eastern or like other conflicts like that, because I don't know what he's taking from it, but you know, I can see it with certain things in here. We go down to the 23 enemy anti-air gun just itself. This is just the platform, which can obviously be mounted on the truck, but this is just the base one. We have a 30 millimeter, and then a 57, and then we have an APC, and then an infantry fighting vehicle. So obviously I can't see what these look like. But these are likely going to be B&P variants, just based off the fact that we have a T-72 down there, which we'll get to in a bit. 12-2 rocket launcher. Cool. I don't know if that is vehicle based or if that is ground based, because if you remember World War II, the Germans had Nebelwerfer, which, even though slight bit, Nebelwerfer is supposed to translate to smoke thrower, which is probably how they got around the Treaty of Versailles with it. Reality was it threw rockets, so it's unclear if these are mounted on vehicles or if they are mounted in on a movable tow. So 82 millimeter motor and the 120 millimeter motor. Realistically, we shouldn't get, I don't know off the top of my head the range of this, but I feel like it should almost go, instead of 82, well, it just depends, because we get mortar teams, and the mortar team uses 82 millimeter shell. Okay, so that is, I would say that's incorrect. If they are going to get, well, we are supposed to be a support company, so it would make sense, but frontline troops use 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 millimeter round mortars, infantry mortars, because they're light, effective, and you don't have to weigh them. At 82, they have a base plate, and it requires a substantial crew with them, typically 3, but I think it's actually for about Americans 4 or 5. Anyway, 120 millimeter, same thing. In a map as small as ours, which is only a 9 kilometer squared, so each thing is about probably about 3 kilometers per square. If we look at the map, it means realistically, if we put a 120, I'm hitting that freaking big old, city up there. So it might not be needed, but later when we begin expanding with larger places, yeah, that would definitely become big, as well as a bigger explosion radius. Does a lot more damage. 400 millimeter grenade launcher, automatic. Oh man, the Mark 19. Nice. I have no comment on this one. It's cool. I don't think there's any way to upgrade from it, other than if you wanted to play the Chinese way, which is their grenade launcher rifle. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Alright, this is kind of the a bit of a big one. So the cool thing is we have a T-72, and then it goes to the A, B, and B series. So these are the upgraded variants. So technically the M is an upgrade to the original T-72, although the M could also just be tacked on. But as we get to these two, these should improve upon anti-armor technology, anti-tank technology, in the form of reactive armor. We also get the T-80s in their 2 versions, which is very nice, very nice. And we get, instead of a possibly 120, we can go to a 125 smoothbore. There is a big missing component here. And that is the case that we need to start actually with, depending on how early he wants to go with the technology, we really should be seeing, at earliest, if we're going Cold War stuff, T-55s and T-60s should be on the list before we see T-72s. That is just a me thing. I don't know how he wants to fully do this. I'm just throwing that out there. And like the same thing with the personnel carriers and fighting vehicles. Like we should see hopefully multiple versions of the infantry fighting vehicle and multiple APCs if we're basing that off of Russian stuff. And then obviously Russian stuff. So things that I would like to see unit wise, just vehicle wise. Aircraft, and I'm really only going to say helicopters work here because I think if we did jets are good, but I think helicopters work a little better for what he's trying to do here, because helicopters are more of a local area thing, whereas jets can come off map. Makes just more sense. We need howitzers. I think we need for artillery. We have 82 into 120 mortars, cool, but we need like a 7.5 or like a 37 to 7.5, and then to like 105 to 125 and beyond howitzers. 7.5s are like pack howitzers, is I think the term used by the army. But if you want to see a picture, just look for like World War II light howitzer. Those are pack howitzers. So you pack them up into like a vehicle or something. They're pretty easy to carry around. Same thing goes with then mortar-based vehicles as well as howitzer-based vehicles, so SPGs of mortar or howitzer variants. Those would be nice to see, especially if you want to get more into armor rather than more into infantry. Let's see, what else could we shove into here before we go back to the front and start going down? Before we go into the army policy to talk more. Honestly, I got nothing. So we're going to pause it real quick. I could unpause it. You just do more. But I just like doing... but there's like a lot going on. Ooh, and I don't want to miss it. So you do that. And then I need you to go over here. They have... I think it was 28 cloth. Yeah. This is going to... Okay, so what I've done here is this is going to be a permanent fob. It's centered between these two tiles, and then this is a temp fob to prepare for taking this in preparations for movement against this place and movement against this place. I've already played this. It's brutal. This game can be pretty rough on you if you're not prepared. Alright, so next up, army policy. So cool. We'll just go down from the top. UAV stuff. This is... I don't know what this is. Okay. So this is UAV. Cool, interesting. This upgrades the actual, like, camera we're actually seeing, because we're seeing this from the Raven's point of view, if you can't tell. So if we go over here, I'm assuming if we go... okay, it doesn't affect this. Or maybe it does, and we're just early in the day. But that's kind of a cool little thing. That what we're seeing is from a Raven. So let's see. Next up, rear support. We have close air support. That's what I mean. This would work really well with aircraft. It could be helicopters. It could be fighter bombers. All that stuff. This would be cool. If we didn't have Heinz and whatnot allowed on the actual battlefield. 82 to 107 artillery fire. Again, having access to our howitzer artillery would be nice in the future, because this is all future stuff I'm talking about. This ain't coming out for a while. Intelligence department, this is fine. Sniper team would be nice to get access to in the game. It's 5,000 though, so it's pretty. Whoo! But I haven't played with these. Well, they're work in progress. I can't play with them. But if I could play with them, hopefully they have 3 versions. Now, I say there should be 2 versions, actually. Sorry, not 3, 2. You have the normal one, which will probably be a 7.62 sniper sniper team that uses 7.62 because they have, like, Jugonovs, Moznagants, whatever. But the other one we should hopefully get to see is the anti-material ones, where they're using, like, the 12.7s. Because everyone likes the 50 cal. But it also makes sense the sniper would have that, because then they could take out entrenched bunkers and whatnot. That's later. Close combat training with the assault unit. I don't know if they come with it. I think they come with normal assault rifles and they have better body armor. They're more survivable. They need shotguns. they need shotguns as an assault unit. I think that should be a thing in this game. 12 gauge shotgun rounds, because even like the Russians have Saigas, which is the mag feds. That would give them, they'll have close, it would be shotguns and like AK-74Us, all the close range stuff. So some of the stuff for like the recon elements as well. So it'd be like 5.54, no, 5.45. I think is what's the AK-74U is in. Don't remember. And then we have Command Center, which is interview permit. I have no idea. Communication Squad. That could be big. Obviously, can't play with it. Another thing we can't play with, Special Forces, but that would be quite interesting to see, as well as see if we can do with them like what the AI can do to us, which is get them to a certain part of the map and then put them on like some sort of sabotage enemy reinforcements and all that. That'd be cool. I haven't played with the mortar yet. I have played with the HMG a little bit, and this is where we see 3-man. I'm assuming this is also a 3-man. Body collection point, no comment. Mess hall, beverage permit, and hierarchical meal rationing. Fair. No comment on it. So modification permit, can I get access? Work in progress. Demolition grenade would be nice. Squad skills would be nice. Outdoor hot food preparation and arm swim trimming. Those are nice. Obviously, get to that later. Battlefield first aid plan. I have played a little bit with the medics. They are very nice. You do want to get access to them when you can, but I just didn't have enough, so I went with something else. May have been useless. Combat rest education, entry discharge, differentiated rescue, combat stimulants. That might be nice. Tranquilizers would be combat fatigue. Okay, that makes sense. I was going to say we could use that on the enemy. I'm not sure if that's a war crime, but if we use it on the enemy, I mean, intel. Supply depot, that'd be nice for better storing food than what we have right now. No comment on this, but that would be nice. I haven't really got my vehicles and modification, yada yada, blah blah blah. So what we do need, and I'm just going to say this, we need two things, really. We need, out of all the buildings, that's all cool and all, we need trenches and bunkers. No, trenches, bunkers, and foxholes. So bunkers can be done in two ways. A permanent one made of concrete or something, because that's if you're making a permanent location, that's typically how you make a bunker. You make it just out of straight up concrete. A temporary bunker, like a temporary like fighting position bunker. Don't know what the name I would use for it. I know there's a name for it. I just can't remember off the top of my head of what I would call it. It does have an actual proper name to it. And in that case, it would be made of like logs and twigs and whatnot, which would make it useful. It'd be a temporary one to set up and whatnot. Trenches, if I had to do a bunker, it's kind of like these buildings where it's like you could put a bunker and there's a bunker right there, just have a little symbol. Trenches would be, you can make a trench zigzag. Like they'd already be like, if you've seen the game, what's the World War I game that came out not too long ago, the strategy game, the Great War one, I can't remember, but it's made by the guys who did the Empire at War games. If you know, you know. All the trenches are automatically zigzaggy, so I would love trenches, like both a basic and a like a permanent one. Because let me tell you, if your guys get caught out in the open, they get murdered, and it is not very pleasant. So having the ability to set up trenches, and by extension, foxholes. Foxholes can even be the beginning of a basic trench. Like you set up some foxholes in an area for like some basic cover, and then you could upgrade them into a trench, and then like a more improved trench for like, you know, soldiers less getting sick or more improved shelter, whatever the case may be. That would be nice right now. Because I'm not sure how we could fortify these, except for just putting sandbags on them. But that might be the thought process there. Okay, what else? Okay, so what do we need for this? Well, we need drones. I think if we're going to... I mean, 1983 is early for drones. But we already have a UA. I may be going a little too ahead of myself here with drones, because right now, like modern day combat, we're seeing a lot of drones. So I don't know if that's a thing we want to do. I don't know. We need AT teams though. That's a big one. We need AT teams at some point. Pause that, you schmuck. This is going to show up. I mean, it can't because it's work in progress. In the same with some of these other things. But, like, the AI, if it was to get this and I was still, like, early stages where I just got my teeth rocked, oh my gosh, I would want AT. Anti-air is another thing I would want, especially if we're going to do things like Hines and whatnot. I'll just play this. Play a little bit. And we'll get this team status. Fatigued. They're fatigued. We'll get them out. Get them in. I'll keep them here for a bit. Well, we currently have these guys going off because they have a vehicle, so I can get away with it a little bit. Just a tad. So what do we need? Oh yeah, we need more nails. We need a lot of stuff. What do we need? Send that over there. So this is where we're going to do a lot of our stuff. So we're going to put send the cloth over there, and we're going to send that stuff over real quick because we're going to need it. So this is all we have. Obviously, I played with a little bit of everything. Not the mortar team. I have had a medic before. Medics are nice, very nice. I may not. I may end up building another unit. I don't know if I will. This is kind of just to show off, to talk. So, okay, let's scrap the drones. We need AT. Anti-air is also nice, especially because gun anti-air is not bad. But the fact that it's relegated to just this is not good. I would rather have some guys with stingers, iglas, that stuff. You know, that to me is more promising for an anti-air unit than, say, a vehicle. Because a vehicle, you know, it's easier to hit compared to a dude out in the middle of the forest. And rockets just do a lot better than anti-air guns. Just straight up. I'm just going to say it like that. What else do we need? I know we have transport crews. If we're going to do vehicles, we need dedicated vehicle crews. And they're going to be dependent on the vehicle in question. Or maybe if we unlock the tank, we automatically get the crew with it, or whatever the case may be. I can't even imagine how much it would cost. I've bought in a truck before. I want you all to realize I bought in a pickup truck. It is 3,000 GMI. It is ungodly expensive, and like it's kind of, I'm at a moment where it's like it is so much better just to take the pickup trucks we have and to bring them in. But the problem is I don't have a place to repair them because I usually don't get down far enough to do that. Let me see. I'm trying to think right now what else to talk about. Yep, there they go. They're off to do that. They're currently scouting and searching and scavenging and whatnot. They need to scavenge everything. Actually, you know what? Don't scavenge through that. So we don't want to just scavenge buried woods. That leads us to nowhere. And they've already got that. Cool. Unit morale low. Recon order 3. Yeah, they're going to be that way because we're currently fatiguing them as they cross all of this. As soon as they get into there, they'll be fine. Babies. Got a lot. Nails. We don't have enough nails yet. they just put the cloth over here. So what we're going to do is, you're over here, building expansion. I can't do anything. We can over here. I'm going to build up a bunch of beds. 10 beds should be enough between the two teams. Get over it, you guys. Once we get more stuff over there, we'll get more. That'll become a primary base, barracks from floor mats to actual beds. So cool. What else do we need? If we're doing howitzers, obviously howitzers would need howitzer crews and teams. Those teams will, if it's a light howitzer, it's only about 3-4 dudes. But if it's a heavy howitzer, like the 205s and the 155s, that's like a 5-man squad, period. The tabletop games I play have the same thing going on. Let's see. What else? This game really needs an encyclopedia to explain what's going on. I was curious about what the actual situation was going on, and it took me actually fighting the enemy to realize the situation is we are the government fighting rebels. Cool. We need a place that we can actually read up to see how this went down. What was the government doing, or was it just like, how did this go down? Like an actual storyline to give us focus. A better constructed intro also helps. It could literally just be do what some movies do, which is the war is at world and all this other jazz, where it's just clips of combat. And even if it's still images of combat, that's fine, and just put over it, how the war has gone so far, leading up to the intro of the game that shows you, where it just shows you being the last guy on. That would be cool, and also helpful to set up the setting and understand you are not Himothy, you are bare basic at best. So now we need to get that done. They're coming back with a bunch of stuff. Yeah, they're getting cloth first, and then they'll get the rations. The rations will help with these guys. If this has become our primary base, we kind of need to. They are low because they're exhausted. That's the big thing. So I'm going to let them just sit there, regain it. They'll be fine in a little bit, hopefully. Cross your fingers. What else? So terrain-wise, this is actually not bad on the terrain. I think this would be cool. This is a pretty good terrain generator, whatever he's using. Obviously, I cannot wait, and also can't wait for when we have to deal with water, because this is the edge of the map. This is this might be water for all we know on the edge of the map here. Might not be. I don't know if we're gonna know. But like water. What is this? Open ground. It doesn't tell you anything about the open ground. But bogs, muddy ground, weather, and new terrain will make this very interesting later on in the game. So that's north, west, east stuff. Okay, that's interesting. I never knew that. I'm learning things as I go along. Yes, because yours truly pays attention. Completely and utterly. Yeah. So he did fix one thing. I had a bunch of people die, and it's good to see that this is previous game. I got a lot of people hurt, and he's already fixed it, but it was a bit of a bug where I could not, for the love of me, get the wounded over to where the main base was. It's a bit of a nightmare. And we still don't have enough scrap metal and whatnot. That sucks. Alright. What else are we needing? Because I had like a whole thing. Oh. So one thing I do hope gets added is, for obvious stuff, modding, and that is it's mainly because I think this would be such an amazing game to do modding for World War I, World War II, Star Wars, Halo, you name it. I'm gonna even throw Valkyria Chronicles out because he said it was his favorite game. I like Valkyria Chronicles, and I'm sorry guys, I like the Empire still. If you don't like that, boo, whatever. Eh. But this would do so well with a mod. Could you imagine playing this sort of style game with Halo or Star Wars? I think that'd be cool. So I'm really hoping modding is in mind in the future, because that would also expand upon, what else could happen. Because even those, if the maker of this game was smart, he would take certain mods and implement them as actual things in the game with the person's permission, or however that goes. For example, like someone makes a mod where you can bring in reinforcements that are not under your control but under AI control, but they're still your allies, and that would be pretty cool. And if it was a mod, and the creator of this game goes, you know what, I want that. That would be kind of cool to see happen if it does. Right. How much time have I spent rambling? Only 30 minutes. Yeah, I haven't really done much, too. Doesn't help. So, currently doing... Oh, they may be going over here, that's why. That's fair. Because I just don't have... We have low fuel reserves. We'll get some tomorrow morning. Oh, that's how we... And then delete evacuation point. Okay, that maybe is how we get people actually evacuated. Huh, okay. Oh. Rip. Yeah, because this is the basic base. Let's see. Alright, well, I think while we're at it, I might fast forward the... I don't know, we'll just talk about it now. Who would like to hear a commando ramble about the most nonsensical thing you all can imagine? I mean, really nonsensical. Are y'all ready for this? No, I don't think you are, but we're gonna see it anyway, if you do. I wonder if that's showing that they're... Oh, another thing I would like to see. I'd like to see the dudes walking around. I'm not saying you need to make them, like, super big, but, like, I'd like to see, like, the little pixels moving around a little bit. Oh, gosh. Surprisingly okay. I mean, you already... We really need to get that mess hall set up. Please tell me I can get it. Nah, there's not enough nails. Okay. Do you have nails? You have scrap metal. Just take that scrap metal over there real quick. There you go. That got him into it. Yeah, because we needed to set up a mess hall and finally get actual food rolling out when we can. Oh, you go through that? Oh, okay. I'm not questioning it. Yet. Alright, rambo time, I guess. Okay. This would be something I could see more as a mod, and I'm a niche person with this one. I'm gonna be weird about it, but this is stuff that did happen during, like, things like the World on Terror, and is even happening now in a way, just not the way I'm going to explain it. Another transport to add that is a possibility. I'm not saying we have to add this, although I would like to, because I enjoy this sort of thing. You taking all the cigarettes over there? You schmucks. Well, they might be stressed out. That might be why. So there's plenty of beds. I can only make one bed over there, so... See if we can get that back over to them. Holy cow, 120? Holy shoot, we could fit a whole battalion of dudes in there. I don't know, just like a little over a company's worth, I think. Oh, we got all the potatoes. A lot of potatoes. That's considered a vegetable. We need... Oh, so that's what staple foods are. Peas are staple foods. Okay, that's good to know. I never knew what staple foods were in this game until now. And that is peas, apparently. That kind of makes sense. Getting all sorts of things over there. Good to know. Is there anything I can send over there? No. Okay, that's fine. Cigarettes. We're getting all the canned meat. Yeah, that's fair. So, ramble time. And you guys can skip straight to the end if you don't want to hear this random ramble situation. But I swear to you, there is a reason. I would like for an extra mode of transportation in slew and in place of vehicles. Maybe it's for a harder difficulty. Maybe it's for this, that, whatever you want to say. I'll let you come up with this, and you're all going to look at my raise your eyebrows or look at me like, what are you talking about? I'd kind of like to see horses. Horses aren't really used by modern militaries. I don't know if the Isarian military is modern. It has C-72s, but then again, a lot of nations have Russian equipment. So that's not really a high benchmark, is what I'm trying to say. Like, Afghanistan has their equipment. Like, come on. That's not a high benchmark for people. We need to set a standard here, right? The reason why I mention horses is while horses are not used in most militaries, they are still used in a few of them, and still have a few uses in a military setting, even by modern settings. The first one is beast of burden. Horses, donkeys are perfect beasts of burden. I mean, if you don't have a vehicle on standby, like we may have wrecked vehicles, but what if we don't have any wrecked vehicles? And what if we just ran out of fuel? We'll have to hoof it across, right? Having horses and donkeys and that thing would be cool. And by extension, I'll even be nice to you all. ATVs and motorcycles. That would be fun in this game to have it included. I just have a fascination with horses. It's one of my many fascinations. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, I could, but I'm kind of gonna have to. But I'm not gonna worry about it right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're fine. Because one looks like he's red. Team status. They're determined. Yeah, it's just because they're a rookie squad, that's all. And they're going to start dropping things off. No, never mind. They're not going to do any of that, you buggers. Can I make a mess hall? Mess hall right there. That is going to be so huge! That's going to allow us to do so much more than you guys don't even realize it. Or you do, because you've played this game. Another thing horses can do is, in a way, they can get used for combat. Kind of. Not really. They're mainly a means of transportation. Again, it's the same situation of transporting things around like beasts of burden. You can use them to transport soldiers. Now, did they ever get really used for combat in the way we see like the old days, Civil War, World War One? Not really. Horse soldiers may show you that, but the reality is, even from my perspective, is most horses don't really get used for that. They're just, it's not common. We know that there was the one Marine Corps horse during Vietnam. She technically was a beast. She was a beast of burden and saw combat, but like, she never was directly in part of combat. So necessary personnel, just 2 more. I'm just gonna put the one. I need that. So I need firewood. Cool. We'll put 2 because we're gonna need it here in a moment. Simple hot meal. Put that to 30. Because this needs wood, but a D ration. This just needs vegetables and wood. $30, and then we have, what is this? Nutritious stew, vegetables and staple foods. Honestly, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of the vegetable, and we'll simply have these two going on. And the reason why is because this has some of the stuff that we have here. So D rations are easy to come by. We will constantly get them. But the other one is because right now we have potatoes, which are vegetables. We have cucumbers, which are vegetables. Strawberries, vegetables. Canned peas are staple food. Don't have a lot of them. But we have meat. I mean, what we could do is 10. Don't have a lot of staple food is the problem. We may have to just stick with vegetables for a bit, which is, yeah, that'll be fine. Alright, now that I've gotten this mess dealt with, we can get back to the ramble. I'm sorry. In theory, though, we could very easily see combat with horses. It's just, how many of us actually want to go out there and find it? Basically, in order for the horse to be prepared for war, even as a beast burden, they need to go through a hoof camp, as Sergeant Reckless was known to have heard. That's the horse's name, Sergeant Reckless. Brave horse, right? Literally carried a 75mm recoilless cannon on it, with like a couple rounds of ammunition, is what I've seen pictures with her. So, needless to say, that pretty cool horse and whatnot. Do new army policy. It's just telling me, hey, you can do stuff, whatever. But I would like to see horses, motorcycles, ATVs, stuff like that added for extra vehicles as well. Let's see. Alternatively, technically speaking, right, if horses can get used for modern day combat in a way, technically chariots can also, because you can mount Mark 19s and, like, machine guns onto them. This is such a stupid ramble. Oh my gosh, someone's gonna look at this and go, I think you're off your rocker, or you've never been on a horse before. You're right, I've never been on a horse before. But that doesn't mean I'm completely stupid to what horses do when it comes to deal with horses. Let's see. I think the big thing people would be like, ask me at this point potentially is, are you trying to say that horses can do something from the old days? Technically, by speaking, they can. It's just in really specific circumstances. Even if anything, tabletop I've learned with like playing Poland with its Polish cavalry is that you have to act two ways with horses. You're either hyper aggressive and force the enemy to be constantly on the back foot and react to what you're doing with horses. You're gonna lose horses either way with either of these, or you can try and play defensive and use horses more as transportation. I am more of the aggressive guy. I would love to charge you down with a horse with either lance, saber, or gun. It's just not very easy to do, and a lot of machine gun fire, explosions, tanks, vehicles, yeah, they're gonna wreck them. Which brings me up to the next schizophrenic moment here. I kid you not, this is a schizo moment, and I don't care what you all say, it's schizo enough. Right? Technically speaking, you can shoot a rocket launcher off the back of a horse. Here's how. First off, I would exclude laws. It has to be a long launcher. It has to be a launcher with a very long end where the backblast comes out of, because you can't shoot it front, you can't shoot it behind you, because it's either going to make the horse lame If you shoot it from the front, it might even take out its eyes because of the wash of the thing. Or if you put the backblast on, you're just going to kill your horse from right out under you've not hurt yourself in the process too, which is not very fun. But you can shoot, technically speaking, in a very small wedge, and I mean like very cute angle here from the sides, right? And the reason why I say you need something with a long backblast, more of just the tube for the backblast to go out of, is in the case of you're trying to not kill the horse. By all accounts, like I've seen, like if you look at like how soldiers use AT weapons launchers, disposable launchers, you're not shooting a guided launcher, and you're not putting a tow on a horse. No, gosh, no. As much as that would be cool, you can keep a tow on you with a horse. We had anti-tank rifles on infantrymen backs after all, but like you're not putting a tow on a horse. Nope, that ain't happening. But you can shoot unguided stuff off of them for like a very small range, moving and or stationary. You could shoot at like max range potentially. Really just depends on how far back you can lean before the backblast actually can hurt you and the horse. But in theory, if you're moving, you can technically shoot it. Just realize your aim is going to be all over the place, and maybe by then, if you're trying to shoot a vehicle with one, like you're desperate. Alternatively, because I've discussed this with people, yes, because I'm that schizo, stupid, say with it as you like. You can give cavalrymen revolving grenade launchers, so like the M32 I want to say is the M32 rotary. Fill them up with HEDP, which is high explosive, dual purpose, and they could take on trucks, APCs, IFVs, that sort of stuff likely, but they're not going to hurt a tank, which is fair. And technically, you can shoot an RPG at some tanks, it just won't. There's no guarantee if it's not a tandem or the later versions of an RPG that you could do anything. What else? What other schizo thing have I come up with? Rolling horses. Technically, by the same account, you can technically shoot anti-air missiles off of a horse for the same reason as an anti-tank launcher. It's the same situation, though. You have to kind of angle it in a certain way, but it's possible. You know, as long as the horse is trained like the launcher, it won't really care. You know, Sergeant Reckless had recoilless rifle cannons fire next to her, and after a couple of them during camp, she was just kind of like, all right, whatever. I could care less now, you know. Can we please just get this cloth? Just. Like, when we next can, please, someone. They might be sleeping right now. Yeah, they're fatigued. Get them in there. Get them sleeping. No cloth, no wood, no lamp, no nothing. Alright. Oh! Cloth. 9, 11 of them. Get that all done, and then put 2 more in there. So, what other schizo moment can I just... Oh man, you're all looking at me like, man, you are off your rocker. Yeah, I've thought about the horror situation of modern day combat, because we are starting to see them in Ukraine, sadly. It's gotten to that bad of a situation where we're seeing them, at least as beasts of burden. I don't think they're seeing live combat or even as mobile transports for troops, but it might not be long before they do. Oh, cool. Cabbages. But it won't be long before we do. That is just the reality. It is 4 in the morning. Talk about that later. Let's see. What other random ramblings about cavalry can I do? Technically speaking, okay, this could be a positive for horses. Let's say you're not using them as transports, but you are using them beasts of burden, and you don't want them to get hurt as much. Technically speaking, we can make Kevlar for them. Now, how you would make Kevlar for horses is you would want to do it in 2 ways. Either they would have similar plate carriers to us, where it protects their sides, the chest, parts of their legs, their face, neck, that sort of stuff, and leave the top of it open for like the beast of burden portion, or could have it draped over them like a Kevlar blanket almost, which for some people is very comfy because it's like a weighted blanket. I don't know, they're crazy. Let me see, what else could we do? They can also have, in theory, if you are willing to develop it, not like many people would be, but if you're willing to, you could develop a form of ear pro for them and eye protection. It's been proved. Like, we've seen them with gas masks. It doesn't take much. They can do it. I know they can. They are rested. Nice. Alright. Get them back over. Daily report. No casualties. GMI from all the stuff. This is what we just got. So no emergency stuff. No soldiers. Nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of these D rations, 34 of them. So 34. Take all of these first aid kits though. That is 36. So whoops. Put that there. Take all the frag grenades, 36 as well. Throw them in there. All of this. Yeah, we want all that over here because this is our kind of forward jump off point to here. So, what was I thinking here, Pro? Okay, in theory, you can also, technically speaking, from a certain point, because people have experimented with this, you can actually have, you can absolutely, and I mean absolutely, can we just move the frickin'... Well, eventually we'll get them to do it. They're gonna explore something either over here, over there, and it's just one of you do it. Get rid of that for now. We'll get them to do it. They may have to finish this up before they do it. And we're making more soup over here, which will help with just general peace of mind for people. As I've learned in this game, it is actually kind of good. Not enough scrap metal. That's pretty typical. We're gonna go get rations. So, technically speaking, you can also use... You can't use sabers. Sabers are a little hard to use in modern day combat, because the problem is Kevlar is meant to design to stop, like, blunt force trauma impacts of a bullet, just spread out the damage, and a sword kind of falls under that, because you have to hit, then cut, so you have to hit, then drag, and you kind of only have, like, access to, like, the head and neck, typically, like, the collarbone area, and then, like, the arms, and those are, like, about it with the saber, but you can use a lance. I think a lance on horseback could actually pierce through Kevlar. It would be up to someone else to try it, because I don't have a horse. Or a lance. And I'm pretty sure no one will want actually me to do that, because they probably think I'm already schizo enough. Unironically. Can we just... we just take the cloth? I may just keep it there until they finally do something about it. Yep, they got a hot meal, so as long as that keeps going, they'll be fine. Hopefully we have enough hot meal. I mean, eventually we'll get these hot meals over to these guys. Because we'll eventually be able to make enough that these guys will be good to go. So we're going to be relying heavily on... That's the air group, that's the... Do I have enough? No, I don't. That's a shame. I don't have enough cloth. Alright, is there anything else, Schizo, or anything I want to talk? Honestly, no. I will say that there's a general tip I would give to anyone who wants to play this game first time, who has not watched people, who's maybe, for whatever reason, decided to watch me, and to take some of my stuff I do. If you're going to take on enemy outposts, I learned this from the last time. First off, use your recon teams to see where everyone is. You get about 3 of them. So there's really no excuse. In fact, these guys are good to go. Let's get them moving. So I'm going to use these guys to eventually scout this out. I don't think there's a fob. Typically, the first 2 closest areas are not enemy controlled, so these aren't going to be. But I'm thinking here, or here, and then this is definitely maybe there. Yep, and yep. These typically are going to have the enemies. And of course, this is just enemy cluster fudge. And I'm assuming this is where the majority of enemies come from. This is like, somewhere in here is their main fob. Like, this is some sort of big city. Cool, are you making... Got a couple hearty stews. Simple hot meals, hearty stews, because we have rations and canned meat. And hopefully these guys are going to start moving all of that stuff over to them. Unless it's already been, unless it's from over here. Or maybe it constantly transfers over because that's already what's been sent over there. Okay. These guys are moving. Yeah, I would like to see like some figures, like some dots or something. Once they're inside, they'll be good to go. You know what I'm going to have them do? It seems it's going to yell at me that there's no one to help with it, but, yeah, Allegiance Boys unlocks logistics people. Shut up. I don't need you there. I need these guys over here. Actually, you know what? Come over here. You go over here to do this place. Yeah, we need to get medics at some point soon. Alright, so we need canned meat. Sent over there. Cabbages. Sent over there. Cucumber. Sent over there. Rations could be kept there. Wood, nails. Lamps. Scrap metal. And then all this old furniture. I'll let them be. Hopefully. So typically what I do is 1 to 2 days. So it's combat day 1. About 1 to 2 days. Wait before you try and begin any movement. Resource. Collect everywhere you can. Alright, I need to get these guys going. I can't take this. Okay, you. Take all of that. You can drop the cloth. And then come down here. I'm tired of you two. You two are just sitting around, and I cannot have that right now. Unless you literally need a logistics team, in which case, fair. Take all of that. And we're just gonna go. I will do this manually if I have to. Very annoying these guys are not doing their job. You. Alright, you. Get it going, you two. Knock it off, this bullcrap. Cool. You've done that. Go over here. Jiminy Christmas. Rank amateurs, I swear. We have a lot of cloth, so we're going to upgrade. This will make them all very happy. Small frontline command post, I think this is. Not enough cloth, of course. Oh, and go on, get it going, you two. Alright, they're finally moving. Jiminy Christmas. That took forever to deal with, so I think at some point, and I may skip ahead if you want to see, because that was my end of my Schizo rant, so I might just kind of show you what I typically do, so we'll just fast forward this. I would love to get some more dudes involved, but I'm waiting. There we go. What time is it? Let's get them actually going now. They're back up. All of these guys are back up because they don't have smoke grenades. On the off chance I need them, I'm not going to go out of my way and deprive them. Rest is darker. What I like to do now is, now that it's dark, and this is something I would I think I was about to tell people, I just got too caught up into it, and I hopefully will remedy that. Raid them at night. When it's at night, they have to be basically right on top of you in order to see you, and by then it's usually too late. And depending on who you jump, it can actually be really beneficial, because like a machine gun T will hit you out in the open with mercy at range. But at night, they can't see you until they basically realize you're right there. And by then, you can actually kind of dictate the fight to your typical desire. I am pushing these guys. Go there. Go there instead. You don't want to rush this. This is a gentle kind of thing. You gotta be a little gentle about it, because otherwise you will not have a good day. And it is not fun when you don't have a good day. Because this might be patrolled by enemies. There might be enemies in here. I don't know. So we're just going to kind of show you exactly what I've been doing to kind of poke at the enemy, for better and for worse. Oh, did you? I mean, you might as well pick them. We can need that. Once they're over there, we'll begin pushing them in. So one thing I've done with enemies is that I've seen patrols of militia. They're pretty small. They're 3-man. A 3-man is the one that I saw. We're not going to move him yet. I have seen a patrol come out to one city before, and I was able to ambush it. The thing, in order to get GMI from attacks, though, in order to get it, you have to actually confirm the bodies are dead. So you actually have to sit there for a hot minute. You found some goodies. Just wood. I don't need wood. So the reason I'm doing cautious march is because that allows them to see a lot more. They're cautiously moving around in the darkness. I don't actually know if these guys have night vision. I would love to see if there's an upgrade for them to get night vision, which might be more unlocked for certain units. Night vision would be nice, like Gen 1, Gen 2, by now I think is what they would have. I think more accurately Gen 1. And that allows you to actually see, because I think if we go see what he can see, this is everything he can actually see. Target reticle, yeah. Some of it they can't see right now. Yeah. Yeah, that shows you everything they can more or less see, but that's... and the accuracy to it as well. Oh. Oh, there's stuff in there. Ooh, yeah. We're gonna be raiding this place. We're just stuffing their pockets right now. If I can get this place set up with something that'll give us a step-off point for here or here, if I ever continue with this run. This run's going pretty well. Day 2, we haven't had too much. Alright, I need you to get a little risky. If we secure this place, we can take it over, and we will be good to go. But I have to be kind of careful. Yeah, we're finding stuff. I would do this with more, because recon teams are only 5-man, and they will die pretty quickly if they get caught out in the open. But right now, I'm pretty confident they won't. Because, as I said, typically the first 2 settlements near you, and not the ones in your immediate vicinity, the ones beyond, are typically open for you to take over. It's the ones after that typically have fobs. And fobs are going to have machine guns on them, by the way. I learned that out the hard way. So we're discovering this is a very nice looking town. We could definitely turn this into a very nice temporary fob or permanent fob. It depends on how far we want to go. I'm going to get you over there because I want line of sight on there. These guys are going... Honestly, let's go get you over there, and then these guys can... About the time they get over there and there, we can turn this into a temporary fob somewhere. Might be... end up being here. Yeah, we might end up turning it into a fob here. We're going to need more transports then. So we may end up having to wait for the GMI. Cigarettes and old tables, yeah. So this would be a nice fob. This is a little fob we'll have in between the two, just with beds and whatnot, and then we might put another big fob over here. Permanent fob. So we may end up having to move some resources over there as well. So things like the wood and nails. And then from there, so what we're going to do is connect this to that way they are all kind of interconnected, and then we can send all the nails over. All the lamps over. All the wood over. And then we need to start saving up for the next transports. Nice, we found a basement. We'll need to start saving up for medics and whatnot. Alright, I think I might end it here. But basically, to put it nicely, use the forest and then kind of pick away at single elements. Don't go for the big elements. Don't go for a bunch of them unless you think you could take it, because I've done it with 3. You can kill like a lot of dudes with 3 because they're basically breaching in. You got to get them at night though, because they're sleeping and they're not really going to be aware that you're going to be right next to them. And then you can also suppressive fire them. You want to do a nighttime raid. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Whenever I skip to this part or whatever. If you do, please hit the like button and comment below. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, please hit the subscribe button and bell icon to know when we're uploading more awesome videos. See you on the Warframe Rangers. And bye-bye.
Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headache stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.